Hi, this is Charlie Setterfield. This time we want to look at taking this accent brick color that we made in the previous video, this kind of beigey, goldy color, and using that as our reveal color in our stacked wall over here, and look at a couple of different ways that we might get that done. And I'm gonna focus on one method because I think it gives you some better control over some kind of quicker, simpler methods. So what I'm gonna do is start with this stacked wall that's actually here on the end. This is our original stacked wall. If I click on that, this is the one that comes straight out of the box. This is our brick over CMU with metal stud. And so what I want to do is start with that one. I'm going to duplicate that. So I need to go into Edit Type, and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to call it Brick with Accent Reveal over CMU. I need to scroll over and take out the 2 that's at the end of this. So take that 2 out and say OK. Okay, so now if I click the Edit button, what I've got going on here is my stack. And so I've got 3 feet of the CMU wall. Let me break this a little bit bigger. There we go. So exterior brick on metal stud is my top there. I'm going to put in several more layers here. I want to have several reveal stripes, and then a field, and then a reveal, and then a field. So I'm going to insert a bunch of these. And I can just use my slider to go through those. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom here. And this variable one, I don't want to deal with that one right now. So I'm going to move that one all the way to the top. And I'll show you later why I did it that way. Okay, so my first one, I want to start with a stripe of my accent wall. So I'm going to change this wall type from brick on metal stud to brick beige on metal stud. And I only want that to be 4 inches tall, so 0 feet, 4 inches. Click on the next one, brick on metal stud, that's fine, but this time I want it to be 2 feet, 8 inches tall. So now I've got this rhythm that I'm starting here. My third stripe, I'm going to change that one again to my beige on metal stud. And again, change that one to be 0 feet, 4 inches. And then my brick on metal stud is fine, but I want 2 feet 8. And let me slide this up a little bit, see how many more I've got. So I'm due for the beige and 0.4. And then this guy is fine the way he is, but 2 foot 8. And let's insert one more and make it the beige stripe, 4 inches tall. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and change this to an EIFS, which is Exterior Installation and Finish System on metal stud. And we'll play with the thickness of that, but what I want is just a very different material on top of this stack so that it looks completely different. And now I'm going to go in and say OK and OK. And so now I've got this new wall stack over here. This is my new type. I can tell that because when I select it, it says brick with accent reveal over metal, or I'm sorry, over CMU with metal stud. So that's my new wall type. That's my new stack. But I still don't have that reveal going on. So what's the deal? How am I going to fix that? So I've got a reveal over here built into this one, and I've got my accent colors over here, but I don't have the reveal. Well, what if we took an attitude where on this wall, my accent brick wall, let's go in and change the size of the brick. That'll give us our reveal. So edit type, edit structure, and now instead of having this be 3 5/8 worth of brick, I'm going to make it 2 5/8 worth of brick, and say OK and OK. And so now when I look at this wall with a different wall thickness on my yellow brick wall, I can see what's going on there, and I actually have reveals of a different color. So, are there simpler ways that I could do this? Yes, absolutely. But I'll show you in a minute why I think this is a pretty good method for this. Um, so what I'm going to do is show you one of the simpler ways. I'm going to just scroll down to this basic brick wall. And what I want to show you is the paint command. Let me scroll this around or orbit this around. So we've got it kind of straight on here. So what I'm going to do is click on this wall, and then up here in my modify ribbon, I've got a split face tool. And so actually I can click on that first and then click on the face that I want to alter. So it makes me select again. And so now it knows that I'm on this brick surface. I'm going to use my rectangle drawing tool and just draw a rectangle in here and say OK. And so now I could use my paint tool. This will apply a material. And so if I grab a paint tool and I say, gee, this masonry brick beige, let's make that that. So what I've done is just apply that material to that wall. And so I could have yellow stripes that are made that way. Well, so what's the advantage? Why would I spend all that time and effort into putting together a stacked wall that looks like this, when in reality I can just go in with a paintbrush and make stripes? Well, to me, I think it's more important that you do it this way because your model is going to be more correct. And the reason for making a more correct model this time is that now I could have my contractor actually use this for brick quantity takeoffs. So if I just paint a color on top of the brick, it's not going to schedule that for me. But I could schedule square foot area of yellow brick versus square foot area of red brick and have that be pretty daggone accurate versus somebody scaling what looks like yellow brick down here, right? So I think it's a good idea to use a stacked wall like this and actually change your materials so that you can schedule them. Let me show you one other thing with that. I want to switch over to a south elevation so that I've got a straight on shot at, or a relatively straight on shot at this stacked wall. So this is the one that I want to look at. And I'm going to leave this in wireframe view. And what I'm going to do is select that wall. And let's say that I wanted to embed a curtain wall into my stacked wall. Well, that's not an easy thing to do. You can't actually embed in the stacked wall a curtain wall from the very beginning. So what you have to do is go in and place it later. So what I could do here is select this wall and then do a right click. And on that flyout menu, one of my options there is breakup. And so what that's going to do is take my stack and revert it to all its individual components, right? And so now when I go in, I can select individual stripes or whatever, right? And so let's say that I wanted to put a chunk of storefront in here. So let me go in and delete out a couple of things. So I'm going to delete that. Actually, let's put that one back. Let's delete out this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, so now I've left myself an accent stripe at the top, accent stripe at the bottom, and then this one regular red brick wall. That regular red brick wall, I'm going to use my drop-down selector in my properties, slide down, and click on curtain wall to change that wall type to a curtain wall. And now I can just bring it up to the bottom of my accent stripe. Now let me turn on shaded so that you can see. So now I've got my CMU, my accent, my curtain wall, my accent, and then my ephes wall on top of that. And then if I want to start putting in mullions and things like that, I can start with a grid and start putting that together, doing whatever. And then put some mullions on my grid. And let's go back to 3D and take a look at this. And so that's what I ended up with. Probably should have been more careful with my mullion spacing, but you get the idea. And then if I wanted to, let me go back to the level 1 plan. Ooh, look at that. So if I wanted to, let me slide these guys out of the way. I could go in and place walls adjacent to that That is our stacked wall with accent reveal. So start at the end of this. Uh-oh, I'm backwards. I'm going to have to flip this wall. Let's see if we can align these and clean these up a wee bit here. So this guy is backwards. Let's flip him. And then let's go in and actually I'm going to have a hard time aligning, but let me try it. So modify, align, grab this center line and the center line maybe. Not really. And the center line and center line. Again, not really. But let's go back and look at it in 3D. Next time I'll be more careful. But you get the idea that I could have a wall in the middle and have similar wall types beside it. Use that breakup tool to pull things apart and insert a storefront or whatever. So there you go. So that's my strategy for putting together a complex stacked wall that I can still have curtain wall inside of.